I don't see love and health and money as a three different things. We have this idea and resistance around money for a lot of people because there are a lot of people who use people for the sake of money. That's nothing to do with money, but that has everything to do with the fear and the intention of that individual. So we're giving energy and responsibility of what is good or not good in the wrong place. I do not see money different from the oxygen that we're breathing. The main thing that we do in the Soul Purpose Group and the Insight community is to practice self-realization. So self-realization is the realization of the self that fulfills the desire. That is the authentic self, the divine, sacred, authentic self. And a lot of the things that we do comes from cultivating the inside and producing the experience outside. We do focus on soul-led practitioners. Means soul-led practitioners are practitioners of living this soul-led lifestyle that comes from the spiritual perspective. So you're fully connected with the creator because you are one, and begin doing the things to express your voice in the world and to be able to touch and impact others. However that form is, that could be your arts, that could be your song that you're singing, that could be the coaching that you do, that could be the um, dog thing that you do, that could be anything that you do. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter what it is, but it needs to be, in order for us to fulfill our calling, it needs to be something that embraces the journey of the soul, the story that we have lived. Yeah. Because we have experienced that to be able to exactly do that. And we focus a lot of the internal stuff. Yeah. But then I've been doing this, online stuff for a couple of years, and then we started opening the school group a year and a half ago, 2024, August 8th. And being in an online space, what has naturally happened in my space is that people who are wanting to express and do things in the online space to grow their business, that started to come around me naturally, right? And it made sense for me to begin moving into focusing on that more and more because the ability to circulate money in a way that allows us to live freely is the only way that the soul can be free and then be expressed instead of somebody else setting your own ceiling. So in the online space, there are a lot of people who wants to create a financial freedom, which is whatever that amount is, right? There's no set amount. Many people tell me financial freedom, but then what we want to identify is what is that for you, right? And when we build a business, we want to make sure that we're building the business, not trading our time, but creating an ease and flow, right? Many people, and I have done this myself though, I have done this myself, but it never felt like it was a struggle for me because I always did something that I love doing. But I did have a pattern of like forgetting about the time that I was working, and I was working all the time because the work didn't feel like work but a play. Yeah. Um, when I was dancing as well, that and when I was managing the mind body stuff, that it's very easy for me to work 50, 60, 70, 80, even 100 hours per week. Yeah. Until my position and the way that I do things became more scalable because I little by little let go of trading the monetary exchange with time. So what we want to focus on in this, 21st century, for me, is a combination of doing things digital so we can connect with people from all over the world and doing things in person so you have this in-person connection. And I think it is a game changer to be able to, when you have the, things that you do online, you can actually do it anywhere from the world, right? So that's a good thing. And then to be able to structure what you do in a way that you can leverage your time is what we want to focus on. Yeah. So in the Soulpreneur program that we have, we guide people and recommend people to do that. Not one-on-one. One-on-one is great, right? Because you can give an individual attention. But if you build something on a one-on-one basis, you will soon run into this conflict of needing to use your time to be able to produce an income. So you might be an artist, you might be a trainer or coaches or any mode of expression. We want to begin thinking and implementing the model that fulfills that. Yeah. And in that process, there's going to be sort of this internal belief of, or because it has been this way, or because I have been operating this way, I want to make sure that I'm doing this to be able to create value. There is going to be a moment where you feel uncomfortable, especially people who I have worked with before who have been therapists or people who have been a trainer because they have been operating on a one-on-one basis and they are so accustomed to provide their service based on that individual attention. Yeah. But when I say to them that, oh, don't you think that at the beginning you are talking about the same thing to almost every single client? Pattern in the mind, right? So begin utilizing those data and information to be able to condense to create, the in-person one-to-one or one-to-many connection interaction, but you also want to have some recording to cover those stuff so you can leverage your time is what we want to do. So in the process of growing your business, one of the things that I have found is the resistance in receiving money. So I want to talk a little bit about that because in order for us to be fully expressed and to be able to um, people around the world who need your help to find you, you must let go of that idea, right? And for a lot of people, it's ingrained in them. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to talk about the abundance consciousness and an abundance mindset. So the best thing that we can do to be able to help everybody to live in abundance is for us internally to begin practicing living the life of abundance. Yeah. And that means that we must let go of resisting to receive. And for me, I have studied and explored myself, self-examine what is this idea of money for me? Yeah. So I no longer see love and money and health as three different things. Yeah, that's one perspective. So when somebody says, I want more love, I want to give more love, I want to be in love more, everybody feel, oh, good about it. Yeah. And when somebody says, oh, I want more health, I want everybody to be in healthy state. People feel good about it. But for some reason, when people say, oh, I want more money and I want everybody to have more money, there is a tendency in the world that, oh, whoa, whoa, let's stop a little bit, right? Do you really need more, right? And that internal resistance that we have is preventing us from circulating. So I don't see love and health and money as a three different thing. Yeah. People, we have this idea and resistance around money for a lot of people because there are a lot of people who use people for the sake of money, right? That's nothing to do with money, but that has everything to do with the fear and the intention of that individual. So we're giving energy and responsibility of what is good or not good in the wrong place. I do not see money different from the oxygen that we're breathing. So what that means is that inhalation is supposed to be coming in, exhalation is supposed to be going out. Income is supposed to be coming in, and expense supposed to be going out, right? So we're constantly circulating, circulating, circulating. We are not gonna try to save our inhalation for the sake of not being able to exhale. Does that make sense? So if money is as abundant as the oxygen, and if we breathe naturally, circulating in and out and in and out, how do we form a relationship with money? Is another angle and perspective that I have practiced that is useful for all of us. Yeah. Because, and then in that, notice, I want everybody to notice what you felt or what you thought the moment I said that the money is no different from oxygen. Yeah. And when I said that, you might have felt that a little heaviness or resistance or a thought around, well, I want it to be that way, just like the belief that we exercised earlier, right? I want it to be that way, but my physical evidence doesn't tell me so, right? And what if the physical evidence is not telling so because of the belief, not because of how it is? Because the external circumstance is a reflection of the inner truth and belief that we are holding onto. Yeah. So what if I know we see, different people in the world who are struggling or surviving or having luck. But what if all the lucks that we are seeing and experiencing in the world can turn around by each and every individual form an abundant consciousness? Yeah. Now, the idea of money, because people think that money is physical, money is a spiritual idea, right? So then, because when something is physical and people have this idea around the money, people get trapped into this pie syndrome. Yeah, pie syndrome is that this is the whole, and if somebody take the piece and other person take the piece, some people might not have the piece left. Yeah. So that's a competitive playing model. The pie syndrome is a competitive playing model, but we are actually living in a garden. Yeah. You plant the seed and you grow and it circulates, circulates, circulates. So the idea of money for most of us was planted in the perspective of competitive playing in the pie syndrome. So people have a resistance in releasing, people have resistance in circulating. It's really important to begin using the term circulation, everybody, instead of out in or instead of expense and feeling resistance around it. Because the more you feel, the more you understand, we understand that we don't own anything, but we're temporarily borrowing while we're on earth. And when somebody pays you, you're not being paid by somebody who is paying, but the money is coming through that person to you, but move through you. And each and every one of us is simply a portal and the station that the circulation is energized in this web of life. The way that you can connect to that idea and the way that you conduct business completely shift from the competitive fear-based angle to a holistic whole system perspective. Yeah. And the exchange is necessary, In the giving, there needs to be a receiving. And in the online space, when we master the art of circulation, because there are a lot of people who inevitably end up wanting to receive without giving, and people tends to misunderstand that I want to give to people by sharing this, but the intention is to receive it. Sometimes it kind of works the other way around than the way that most people operate, right? So you want to be open to, you want to give yourself a permission to receive abundantly, but we want to be giving and circulating generously. And when we begin operating from the idea of lifting each and every individual up, every encounter that we have, this is what Bob said, you will never have any problem with the money because that's the law of circulation, right? So the idea that I actually don't own anything, but I'm simply a portal through which the exchange of energy flow to and through me has served me tremendously because then there's no attachment to it, right? You're just kind of simply playing the role of energizing and elevating and expanding the circulation. And in that, you can begin cultivating the craft and to be able to step into the divine version of you.